Welcome to WordPress from Scratch Part 1 from Nouveller. In this part, we're going to cover downloading and installing WordPress along with installing a local host. In this case, we'll be using the local host called MAMP. So the first thing to do is we're going to download the latest version of WordPress, which is 2.8.1. Once it's downloaded, if you just unzip it into a folder and it'll come into WordPress, we can just open this folder and select all of the items in here, and you should have 26 items. So I'm just going to copy them, and now I'm going to navigate to my sites folder. This is where I keep all my websites. So I'm going to create a new folder and just call it test. I'm going to open this folder up, and then I'm going to paste all those WordPress files into there. So there you can see, got our test folder. Here's the files just coming across, taking rather a long time. Right, so now all our files are in. The next thing we need to do is to download and install MAMP. So if you come back to Safari and visit the MAMP website, which is mamp.info, find the download page, and we're going to download this silver elephant icon on the right. Once it's downloaded and you've dragged it into the applications, you should know the drill. Open MAMP up, and it should look a little something like this. So here's the first thing you'll see when you open MAMP. The first thing we need to do is set some preferences. Nothing too difficult. We'll start on the start and stop, and we're just going to select Apache. The document root is where you keep all your websites. So in my case, that was my default sites folder. You might keep it somewhere else, so you can enter your document root or use select. So that's where mine is, so I'm going to hit OK, and I'm going to turn my servers on. As you can see now, both my servers are now turned on, both got the green light, so we can just minimize that. Alright, the next thing, I'm going to use Coda to set up a site file. So I'm going to call this site test. It doesn't have a root URL, but we need to set a local URL. So if you come back to Safari and we're going to visit the MAMP start page, you can also get to this via the MAMP window. So this is the MAMP start page. To find your local URL, is you just need to remove MAMP off the end of your URL and then type in the folder name for your file. So there we go, there's test, and that's the folder we created of all our WordPress files, and you should get this WP config file error. Ignore this for now and just copy and paste the URL out of there. Right, so I'm going to paste my local URL in here. We do have a remote URL, a local root which we need to set. Again, this will be our test folder which we created, and there we go, we can see all the WordPress files in there. So I'm going to select that and then save my site, and obviously you'll have something along the lines in your preferred coding program. So I'm just going to open my site up, and I should see all my files in here. The next thing we need to do is create a database for WordPress to run on. So we can do this within MAMP. So we just head back to our MAMP start page, and we're going to open up PHP MyAdmin. Again, this will be the same kind of a process for your server. So once it's loaded, I'm just going to create a new database called WordPress. Just create. And there we go, that's done. So now if we come back to the error that occurred, we can see here the WP config file. This is the thing that we need to change, and then that will be the first thing you need to change once you've got it onto your local or remote server. So if we find the config file in here, it's actually called WP config sample. So we're just going to take the hyphen and sample off, leaving it WP config.php. So I've opened this up, and we just need to put in a few details. So the database name is WordPress. This is the same database name we created in PHP MyAdmin. The username will be root. All this is set by default in MAMP, so don't worry, yours should 99% be the same. Localhost will only be used when you're going to remote host. So we just need to put the port number for MAMP on the end. As you can see, this will be the same just here, but we're just going to change the end number. So it should be 8889. So we've got WordPress as the database name, root is the user, root is the password, localhost, colon, 8889 as the localhost. So I'm going to save that file and then close that down. Right, so if I now try and access this folder again, fingers crossed, we now come to the WordPress install page. For the blog title, I'm just going to call it test, and I'm just going to enter my email address, because you'll get password reminders and bits and bobs sent to that if you do forget it. And then just hit install WordPress. So here we go, we're presented with a username and a password, so jot this down. I'm just going to copy it for now, and I'm just going to hit login, and this is actually logging into the dashboard of WordPress. So username, paste the password, and just let it know to remember me. So here we go, here's the default screen of the WordPress dashboard, and I'm just going to visit the site to show you that it's all working. Here we go, so here's our blog. We're logged in as administrator, so we can edit and submit comments straight away. So that's it for this tutorial. So we've just covered installing WordPress, setting up our site, and getting MAMP all up and running. I hope you enjoyed this, and tune in for part 2. Subscribe to the RSS feed so you don't miss out, and thanks for watching.